Hello everybody, James from No Limit. James from No Limit's doing what I don't do best and talking into a camera without looking too awkward and sounding too boring. Video with regards to the last round of 2025 Donington. What a year it's been. Sad to see it come. I'm looking forward to a rest, to be honest. It's a long summer for me, but as I'm sure it is for all of you. But looking forward to getting there now. 4 days on track, and I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Let's finish strong. Just on that, I just want to say thank you to all of you for being No Limits customers this year again. I know you have other options, and we do really appreciate you using us, especially us in the awning as well, and does make a big difference. And thank you from me and the lads. And also at the same time, I'd like to thank the lads, because without them, I'm toast. I'm nothing without my boys. I'm sure many of you have seen we're a good crew of lads. We're all big mates, and it makes the weekend go nice. So enough about that. Let's get on to what to use for Donington coming up, and it's probably going to be a little bit cool. And as we know from when we were there at the start of the year, it's a pretty grippy surface, pretty hard on a tyre if we run the tyre pressures too low. You can do by all means, but what was nice at the start of the year, and what's been nice over my time doing this over the many years, is when people listen and you make a difference. And a couple of guys came into the awning at Donington and were telling me they were running high tyre pressures, 28, 29 psi, getting really good tyre wear, getting loads of grip. Fantastic. What more do you want, And let's remember, lowering tyre pressures doesn't always give us the highest amount of grip. It can cool the tyre down, it can cause the tyre to tear. Great for me. You could use a tyre race and you're back seeing me all the time. Honestly, I don't want that. I want that tyre to work well for you around Donington Park in late September. Well, any time of the year, but in late September when we go there. So just consider that. I'm genuinely trying to help you. And I think when it comes to compounds, let's talk about the front. Get it out of the way. SC1, K1. It's pretty much what I think 99% of you now use. I think we sold 2, maybe 3 SC2s at the last round. And probably to fellas that would use it wherever they go, and that's cool, that's fine. But I think for most of you, SC1, K1 is a solid choice. When it comes to the rear tyre, for sprinting, I think the major part of the paddock will go with SC1 rears. Our more experienced Pirelli Super Series customers and riders will use a 0. Those fast guys like Stamper in 600s and Max in maybe Max didn't actually last time, saying that out loud. Maybe they will go SC1. So maybe that's something to consider on a big bike, is that even the fastest lads are probably going to use 1s at Donington. 600s, I think the fast lads there will stick with 0s. But for the high majority of you, I think the SC1 in sprint racing gives you what you need. SC1 or my fan favourite, the K1, So really do consider that Metzler product. It's a little bit cheaper. We get a little bit more life out of it, and the grip level I think is negligible for most of us, When it comes to endurance racing, I know what the fast lads are going to use already, because they've already been on the phone and ordered it. 2s and 3s are where I'd be looking in the Pirelli range in the endurance race, just to give you the best stability over the longer period of time that you're going to be on the bike. K1, K2 compound is still a good option. K1 I think is still a great tyre. It's quite similar in its makeup to an SC2. So if you were thinking you wanted something slightly racier, maybe a K1 is the way to go for the old noggin. But a 2 and a 3, I'll have a bet with you all right now, £10, that an SC3 rear tyre wins the race. I'm quite happy to say that. So for those of you that think it's not a solid race tyre, it's a stiff carcass tyre, it's not. It's a great endurance tyre. It's so stable. Your lap times will just stay the same, where you'll get a good grip out of a 1 and a 2, and then it'll just start to progressively drop off and go through the tyre. So I think 2s and 3s in the Pirelli range, the order of the day, a 1 or a 2, or even a TD Slick. Interesting shit fact of the day, actually. I was at Donington on Tuesday, where I saw my great friend Jeremy Page. He said he watched my videos and was happy with them. Said I look awkward, and I would totally agree with it. But thank you, Jeremy, for the kind words to push me into doing this. But I was there with my old friend Leon Geacock. Me and Leon go, I don't know how many years back, when we were kids racing. And we did some tyre testing on some new product, which will come to the forefront through 2026. I'll talk to you about that. But we started Leon yesterday on TD slicks, front and rear. He'd never ridden on TD slicks before. And for those of you who don't know who Leon is, he's been a Superstock rider forever and a day. He had a good full season in Superbike 1 year. He's done the Northwest 200, and he's lined up to win the EMRA Championship, I think, this year, possibly this weekend or next weekend. Good luck with that, Leon. But Leon's always ridden on proper pucker SC1, SC0 or SC1, SC1 tyres wherever he's been. So TD slick was something a little bit different for him, but he embraced it. And he got down to a 33.8 on his Fireblade, and we only did 2 sessions on the TDs, just one to warm him up and get him into them, and the second one just to see what he could do. But 33.8 he got down to, consistent 34s. Pretty quick round Donington. Shows what the tyre is capable of. The front tyre, I won't deny it, has a little bit of feel issue when you're really trying to pull the brake, and we could see that in his data. However, the rear tyre we could see get the throttle on and drive it. So if you are thinking of a tyre which will do it all, endurance, bit of sprint racing, the TD Slick could be the tyre for you. It could be really good value for money for a lot of people as well. What else did I want to go on to? Tyre temperatures. For Jeremy, this is, I'm checking my notes that Jeremy told me to do. Tyre temperatures. So we saw it a bit at Donington this week, like I said, with Leon during the test. You're not going to go off your warmers at 90 degrees, front, rear, and they're going to stay at 90 degrees when you're out there. I think even if Kyle decided to turn up this weekend, I haven't spoken to him, I don't think he will, for obvious reasons. I couldn't see Kyle keeping mega hot temperature in the front tyre. It's going to drop down a little bit. And what happens with that is, if you're setting your tyre pressure at 34 psi at 90 degrees on your front tyre, you'll run round. I think most of you will run round at 60, 65 degrees on track, maybe 70, some of the quicker ones. So that tyre pressure is going to drop down. When the tyre pressure drops, the tyre flattens. So instead of it having its nice radius, the tyre is flat effectively. So imagine breaking down into, they call it Fogacy's, the S's through there, the fast S's. You want the thing to change direction. If you've got a flat tyre, it's harder to change direction both ways. You get down into the loop, we're going to slow to a stop, the tyre's going to be flat, you're going to start to feel maybe the understeer of the bike coming in because the tyre's rolling underneath you. Just cancel that call. The tyre's rolling underneath you. It won't roll through the corner nicely. So if you start to experience that, either on track or when you come in and you check your tyre pressure and it's dropped PSI, 2 PSI, 3 PSI, it's tyre temperature, Yes, let's check it and make sure it's not got any air escaping, that's for sure, and make sure you have your valve caps on, please. But yeah, I think a lot of you with adjustable tyre warmers will benefit this weekend because you can set those tyre temperatures to suit the condition. The rear will suffer a little bit as well. I think quite a few of you will probably set it at 90. We'll see that tyre temperature drop off, and that's just not dropping off on track with you riding round. That's dropping off before you go out. If you can peak your tyre temperatures right up, and then the temperatures come down to where they're going to settle and they're going to be, and the pressures can settle at, that's a fantastic way of doing things. I know several BSB teams use that tactic where they overheat the tyre and it comes down and comes to the rider. If you're heading out on track and you've been in your oiling at 90 degrees, it cools down, the tyre pressure is set at 90 degrees, that drops down, that creates a bigger contact patch at the back, cools the tyre down a little bit, then you start driving around, you start overheating the top of the tyre temperature on the surface is different to what it is inside the tyre, and you just start to see this horrible thick tear where the tyre's moving around, squirming around, and it's just getting too hot and it just starts to peel the compound off. There'll be a lot of the old discussion of cold tear and hot tear. I think, as I keep saying as a technician, you think it's cold tear because it's cold, but I think a lot of you suffer from the tyre sat down too flat and moving around. Cold tear is when the tyre, in my eyes, is overinflated and the heat can't spread across the tyre. That's when we call it a cold tear. If you think back, or you probably won't realise this, but I will, the Thursday and the Friday at Donington, we do see some quite heavy tearing on the tyres because you're getting back up to speed, getting back into it. Not to panic, just consider what I've been saying to you about where you're setting your pressures. Maybe I'd set your pressures at the higher range of the scale. So 35, 36 in the front, hot is fine. 28, 29 in the back, hot is fine. I've got plenty of lads that are running zeros and X's with 28, 29 PSI and loads of grip. SC1 will work really well. One of our real good goers, real experienced riders came to me at Donington with a 28 PSI tyre and it looked absolutely fantastic. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about grip with it being higher in the range. It'll keep the heat in the tyre easier. You'll change direction easier. I promise you it will be better. You'll go faster. Trust me on that. I think that was about it for heat. Yeah, if you've got warmers that can up the level of heat, put your warmers on, leave them for a set amount of time, let's say an hour. 45 minutes is a minimum, but let's say an hour. Set a reminder on your watch, your phone or whatever. Right, set your pressures. We always overinflate your tyre pressures in the awning. So when you come and see us, we'll set your pressures at like 2.5, 3 bar, so you can drop them down. The reason we do that is that we use dry air to inflate the tyres. Dry air's got no water in it. So if you've got to put water back in from your foot pump or your compressor in your awning or your mate's compressor or whatever, it's more than likely got fluid, air, liquid in it, water in it. Water heat's different. It can create almost a steam inside the tyre. It can give the tyre a funny wear, and it can also give an imbalance, an excessive growth on tyre pressure. So set the tyre pressures down at that hour to what you want them to run at. And ideally, the temperature of your tyre warmer will ideally be what you are running at on track. What was I going to say then? Then I want you to peak them. If you've got adjustable warmers that can go up to 115, 120 degrees, like the Capit warmers that we stock in the awning, get them up, get them hot, and then when you leave the awning and you wait to go out on track, whether that's for the track day or whether that's in the holding area ready to go onto the grid, the tyres are cooling from where you're not going to be anyway. So by the time you get moving off the grid, the tyre temperatures are stabilised pretty much where you want them to be, or they'll stabilise through the first lap or two. What else did I want to say? I think that was pretty much about it. I've waffled on long enough. Tyre sales will end 12 o'clock on Monday like they always do. We've got a short week this week. We start setting up at Donington on Wednesday morning. So I really need your pre-orders in. Remember, you get a £15 a tyre discount when you pre-order your tyres on the website. Free fitting, free disposal. A lot of you are loving that, and that's fantastic that we're helping you out that way. So yeah, get that done by Monday 12 o'clock, because Tuesday we will be stressing and loading and effing about, and Wednesday I'll leave Tuesday night. Wednesday morning we will be there at 8 o'clock starting to set up ready to go for you from Thursday at 7 o'clock in the morning, or 7ish. Let's say 7ish, ready to go. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I've waffled on long enough, far too long. I know it's been a long video, I'm sorry. But thanks for everything. Looking forward to seeing you at Donington next weekend. Thank you.